From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Don't forget to download the free Weather NorCal app. You can take me wherever you go. You want to check out the latest forecast. It updates regularly at 5 a.m. The latest weather forecast, of course, that you're watching this morning here. There's one that uploads at noon and then another one at 6 p.m. So wherever you are, you can always check out that latest forecast. Just download the app for free. Search for Weather NorCal, and before you know it, you've got everything you need there right on your phone. Headlines. We do have the highs climbing above normal this week. We already noticed it yesterday, and it's going to get even warmer over the next few days. Now, we do have some breezy north winds at times. We're not expecting any major wind event, but it's just going to be one of those things where you'll notice the winds from time to time. Dry conditions all week long. No major storms, no major heat waves in sight. It's just going to be kind of status quo. Yeah, temperatures are going to be above normal, and it will be warm, but it's not going to be hot by any stretch of the imagination, at least for most people's standards. Here you can see the warmest spot was yesterday in Redding at about 76 degrees, mainly though in the low 70s. The cool spot was Chico at about 68 degrees for your daytime high. 66 out in Weaverville yesterday, and there are those temperatures in the mid 50s out along the coast. No big changes there, but for today, yeah, it's getting warmer. I think some of us in the valley could touch 80 degrees. It's not out of the question. But of course, the coast, cooler. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s for the higher elevations. All right, so let's take a look at futurecast. And really overall, you're just going to see a couple of clouds here and there. Some passing high clouds. Yes, high pressure is the dominant feature, but it's not the strongest of ridges of high pressure. And as a result, we may see some of those passing clouds and even some of those puffy cumulus clouds in the mountains. But the winds, as I was mentioning, here you can see 5 o'clock today. I think a little gusty along the coast. No big, not out of the question there. Not to mention some of the higher elevations, but even the valley. There you can see around the north end of the valley, could get up around 15, maybe 20 miles per hour. And then taking you to the noon hour, that's when the winds may pick up a little bit more, where we could get over 20 miles per hour around midday on Wednesday for the valley, and not to mention some gusty winds out along the coast. It looks like they should subside, though, as we take you into Wednesday afternoon, and not to mention into your Thursday morning. But again, I mean, you're talking still upwards of around 10, 15 miles per hour, not out of the question here for some of us. So yes, a little breezy, but no major wind events heading our way. Now, I was talking about it's a weak ridge of high pressure. We call these typically dirty ridges of high pressure. What that means is typically with high pressure, you've got sunny skies, right? But sometimes if it's a weak ridge, it still allows a lot of the clouds with the storm systems to kind of push on through. And that's what I expect to see here over the next few days. But again, this ridge of high pressure, yes, it's the dominant feature over the next few days, but we've got these storm systems that are riding to our north, and that's preventing that ridge from really building in. In fact, we may see a slight dip in our temperatures later on this week before they kind of go back up again. But as I mentioned, you'll notice no major heat waves, no major dips in temperatures, no major storm systems either as far as rain is concerned. This would typically maybe bring us a bit of rain here for early next week, Monday, but I think it's going to be fairly moisture starved, and most likely we will remain dry. Just a dip in our temperatures as we go into early next week. But again, not a major dip. We're not talking 50s again. No, I think that's behind us for now. There you can see your temperature outlook as we look at the next 10 days or so. We are looking at better chances of seeing above normal rainfall, and same thing with precipitation. Most likely looking at below normal rainfall here in the extended outlook. So again, as I mentioned, kind of that headline. No major storms, no major heat waves. Just going to keep temperatures a bit on the mild warm side, depending on how you look at it. Here's a look at your wave heights as we take you into the next few days. There you can see as we take you into your Wednesday, we're not going to see much change there. In fact, we do have, looking at the marine forecast, a small craft advisory that will be upgraded to a hazardous seas warning, or just something that you got to really be on the lookout for. So we are going to be looking at some choppy seas out there. Those winds from the north at about 15 to 25 knots. Your waves from the north at 9 feet at about 9 seconds. All right, so here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Those temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 70s. So yes, it is warming up out there. Even for the coast, we're getting close to 60 degrees in Fortuna, 57 degrees out in Eureka, and Blue Lake, a high of about 62 degrees. We take you up north with a high of about 66 for Smith River, 58 for McKinleyville, and those inland areas, temperatures mainly around 70 degrees, give or take. And for Siskiyou County, yeah, temperatures mainly in the 60s. Some of the cooler spots, as we typically see in those higher elevations, around 59 for Doris, 60 in Tennant, but Mount Shasta City, not bad today, a high of 67 degrees. 64 degrees out in Canby, 60 for Tule Lake, 63 out at Eagleville. We take you out to the eastern mountains where temperatures there are going to be in the mid to upper 60s, but some low 70s in there as well, with about 71 degrees for Greenville, 70 in Shingletown, Paradise right around that 69 degree mark. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. Those temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s as you head south. Again, we're splitting hairs. Could we quite possibly see 80 degrees in some spots? Yeah, not out of the question. We've got 80 for Anderson, 79 for Redding, 79 degrees that is for Red Bluff, and 78 degrees out in Lakehead. So looking at your 7-day outlook, it's gonna be just kind of one of those things where you're not going to notice much change. Temperatures on average around 80 degrees. Again, we could touch 80 degrees today, tomorrow, but of course, most likely seeing those low 80s for Thursday through the weekend. And there's that slight dip in the temperatures by early next week.